We're recording now? All right.
We might be. We just fired it
Recording started by Ben. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey there, YouTube. We're here with your friend and mine, Bill Godbold, Billy G, for an update on what's going on with USPSA, because you watch the meetings and the minutes, I think, pretty closely, generally speaking.
Yeah. I watch it so you don't have to, I guess.
Right. And
not just you, anybody.
Right. There's some drama going on, I think.
Yes.
Most notably with Yemen, there was some stuff with the hot dog, whatever. We're going to get into it. So first and foremost, I think it looks like the board is getting ready to eject Yemen, or they have soft ejected Yemen already, or something like that. Yemen being the president of USPSA, he was removed once before by the previous board, elected back into office, and it looks like he's something's happening. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it looks like they are trying to get rid of Yemen without looking like they're trying to get rid of Yemen.
Can you explain that?
Like, they're removing. They passed a new bylaw edition, 7.9, and the text of that is generally in the announcement for the meeting that had the agenda.
Yeah.
And it basically says that a supermajority, a 3/4 vote of the board, can remove duties or powers from the president and reassign them to someone else.
Okay.
So
wait, so this is a new bylaw change. So this would require 3/4 of the board to do it? Yeah.
Yes. So it 3/4. All 8 area directors voted yes on this amendment. So on the bylaw change. So the bylaw change went through.
Okay.
Which that's you need a supermajority 3/4 to remove the president under 7.7. So it's the same to remove the vote requirement is the same to remove the president as it is to change the bylaws. But so what this new bylaw does is it lets a 3/4 majority of the board remove duties from the president and assign them to some other person. After this bylaw was passed, the board voted to remove the president's power to establish committee assignments, because that's one of the duties of the president. That was removed and assigned to the vice president, which I believe is Russell. The board voted to remove all nationals match director duties from the president, and they assigned them to the managing director. And then the last motion made under this new bylaw was to remove the IPSC regional director duties from the president and assign them to Layton. They were originally going to assign them to the Area 2 director, and then Ben Berry said, well, would that mean that John Burt is going to be the new regional director in January?
That's clever. That's very clever.
And Jim said that wasn't his intent, so they changed that amendment, or changed that motion to nominate Layton, and that one failed because it did not get a supermajority. I think Area 3 voted no, Area 6 voted no, and Area 7 voted no. So it had 4 in favor.
Whoa. So Area 5 was in favor of that?
So Area 1, so the yes votes were Area 1, Area 4.
Jim Boone voted in favor of that?
It was Jim Boone's motion.
Oh my God.
Area 1, Area 4, Area 5, and Area 8 voted yes. Area 2 abstained, which makes sense because it was about him.
Yeah.
Area 3, Area 6, and Area 7 voted no, and Yemen abstained. So
Yemen abstained? I mean, I guess it concerns him. So
it concerns him, and I don't know that there would have been enough yes votes, even if he had voted yes.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know what the impetus behind this bylaw change and then stripping all of these duties from Yeeman is. The only thing I can think is that he isn't doing his job. He's not doing the stuff that they're taking away from him, and they're going to assign it to somebody who will do that.
The word is he's not doing his job.
Well,
right. And so this is kind of an interesting situation, right? Because he's not doing his job. I don't believe he's doing his job based on what I've heard. And I'm glad the board is doing something about it. That's good. But then if you look at the totality of what's being done, they're stripping all of his jobs from him.
And then they're going to continue to pay him.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, all right.
I mean, you're going to pay somebody to do to be the president. You might as well. Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand why they're taking this approach instead of removing him with 7.7.
Because if they fire him right now, then Russell must take over as president. Which I don't know his situation, but if he's got another job or something and he cannot, that would be a big problem.
Okay, that's true.
So like I don't know that, but I think if
it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if they make a move on Yemen, like the bylaws are already in place that it forces certain things to happen, which they may not want to do. So yeah. I mean, interesting. Okay, so there was something going on with the fee committee with the advertising rates as well.
Yes, the fee committee is going to be looking, in addition to membership fees, they're looking at advertising rates and royalties and that sort of thing. They're going to see if making any changes to that stuff will affect how it will affect things, which sounds to me like they're considering raising rates, and they want to know if raising rates will result in more revenue or less revenue.
Yeah. I mean, if you give them money, you don't really get, it's not like you get a value for it. It's not like people flock to your shop or anything. It doesn't really work that way. You're just giving them money.
I don't think I have ever bought anything based on advertising I've seen at a USPSA match or in the magazine. Certainly, I haven't bought anything I wasn't going to buy to begin with.
I mean, that's consistent with my experience.
What else did they do? Alex made a motion to create an IT committee and do a few other things that it all got tabled, so it'll be on the agenda for the next meeting because they were running long on time at that point. One thing I want to give the board credit for with this meeting is all of the executive session stuff was pushed to the end.
That is nice.
It was great. So it was a hour and a half, hour and 45-minute meeting roughly, and then all of the executive session stuff was at the end instead of having an open meeting being streamed for 5 or 10 minutes and then 20 minutes or 30 minutes of executive session and then going back to the stream for another 5 or 10 minutes and then another 20 or 30 minutes of executive session. It was much more watchable.
Oh, well, that's actually good. So where do you see this thing going from here?
Which thing? The Yemen thing?
Anything, the board thing.
I don't know if this whole thing with Yemen is part of the board's approach to trying to get him to turn things around. I don't know what effect it's going to have. Because now he's getting paid and he has less stuff to do. Like he's receiving his salary and they took 2 or 3 things off of his responsibility list.
Yeah.
That seems like a perverse incentive to me. Like if he continues not to do his job, are they going to fire him? Or are they going to take more duties away? And it's increasing his hourly rate. Is what
it is. I mean, it doesn't make much sense. And I think there's I don't know if you noticed, I think a meeting ago or 2 meetings ago when Yemen refused to put the motion in the agenda that was going to strip him of these powers.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I did notice that the
Right.
meeting
Yes.
where it was put in the agenda, because you have to publish a bylaw change
Yes.
the meeting before. The last meeting where this bylaw change was published, Yemen was not present.
Yeah. So he forestalled it for a couple of weeks or whatever.
Okay.
But when you see that, I mean, it's pointing there's a lot happening behind the scenes that we are not seeing.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, I mean, to me, like if there's moves like that being made, it's like it's going to be terminal one direction or the other. It's like this will stop when Yemen is gone ultimately, or whatever, or just completely sidelined.
Right. It looks like this is leading up to him getting fired.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels.
Alex made a motion to modify 10.2. So it wasn't a motion to modify. He wanted to publish his proposed modification so that it could be taken up at the next meeting.
Okay.
And this would increase transparency. I don't have the language for it in front of me because it was added to the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. It wasn't part of the published agenda.
Yeah.
But some of the directors complained that had kind of vague language. It referred to directors exercising their prudent business judgment and working for the best interests of the organization. And that's vague. I mean, it's kind of vague, but it's also that's standard legal responsibility language. Like,
I mean,
you have to exercise reasonable care. It's like, okay, what's reasonable care? Like, don't be stupid. It's you can't tell somebody what they have to do to be reasonable. Everybody knows what being reasonable is. Like, that's the point.
Yeah. It's not shocking they wouldn't like that.
So that was they talked about sending it to the attorneys for review, and what they ended up doing was sending it to the bylaw committee for review. And Frank said they may get the attorneys to look at it as part of that. This is not the first modification to 10.2 that has come up. There was one a few months ago. I don't remember who proposed it, but it was also either referred to the bylaw committee and or referred to the attorneys for review. And I don't think we've ever heard anything about it since then. So it seems like sometimes things will get referred to a committee, much like in Congress, something will get referred to a committee, and then that's a way to kill it without looking like you're killing it.
Yeah, of course. Well, I don't know. It sounds to me like not a lot is happening except for this Yemen thing. The Leighton RD thing is crazy to me. That's super disappointing that Jim Boone would motion that. That to me is an expediency thing. It's like, oh, he wants it and he'll hand out the slots sort of halfway okay. So like, let's just do this because it's easy. And it's like, nope, that's not acceptable. It's really not.
Yeah, and they talked about making it like an interim nomination where he would be until December or the in-person board meeting, and they would have a regional director policy established by the end of the year for voting on this or picking who it is.
Jesus, the people should have voted on who that is. They should have voted on someone, and they did.
That's my thinking. It's everybody votes on the regional director. That's part of the presidential election.
Yeah.
So, I think some people have pointed out that the IPSC Constitution says that the members are supposed to democratically elect the regional director.
It does say that
for their region. It does say that, and it's been pointed out by IPSC people, I guess, that in many countries they can't get anyone to run, so they end up nominating somebody or appointing somebody or however it works. It's like, well, and that's why nominating Leighton to be regional director is fine, but I mean, we have people who are running to be regional director.
They did have someone run for it, and he won.
I mean, there were 5 people who ran to be regional director. It's not like we
Yes.
have nobody running and we've got to get somebody to be president. We voted.
They have
Someone
one.
was elected.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. There's also some historical society stuff on the agenda. There's a nonprofit that's been established for the historical society. It's other than being established and getting some money in the bank account, it hasn't done anything.
Awesome. Sure, Layton's very happy.
I'm sure he is.
Well, all right, Bill. Thank you for the update. It is
Yeah,
very, very helpful.
always happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kill this recording.